Yo, what's up, everybody?
Skyman and tapping the fuck in.
And if you haven't heard already, hype as fuck, baby. Let's go.
It's your boy Ace Outlier. We're about to get hype as fuck.
What it do? This is TSD Chris with Trap Star Dreamers, and you tuned in with Hype as Fuck Podcast. Let's get it.
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck.
I'm hype as fuck.
I'm the bastard.
I'm G Blunt.
We are tongue tied.
Yep.
And we are hype as fuck to be back.
What's up, Jesse?
I want to take a second at the beginning of this, and I just want to give you your flowers. What up, Chris?
What's up?
Are you ready? Because I know I'm ready. Are you ready to get hype as fuck?
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck.
I love you so much. I think you're fantastic. You know I do. I just love meeting you guys in person, and then it's like, oh my God, you're you're actually our family for life. As soon as I saw you, I wanted to hug you because you've been there, you've been there for us. You're not just regular to me. You're Mad Back Jackson.
Yeah, man.
Well, shout out to Hype as Fuck Promotions. Shout out to Mad Back Jackson.
It's Mad Whack. Let's get hype as fuck, yeah?
Hype as fuck.
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 Hype AF in the house.
The boy Master K, be sure to tap him for hype as fuck. Let's get it. Jill.
Jesse, get hype as fuck. What up?
Y'all want your hype as fuck? I know I do.
Roar! This is Toddy and you're watching Hype as Fuck.
Change my damn screen. What up, what up? I am Mad Wack Jackson, and welcome to another episode of Get Hype AF Podcast. And today we have a special guest with us, Jay Fletcher, aka Jay the Lion. We're going to bring him on stage in just 1 second. But first off, I want to start out the show giving everyone who's tuned in a special shout out today. So thank you for watching. If you're watching, do me a favor and share this video out. If you are watching from YouTube, do me an extra big favor and like and subscribe, and also share this video out and drop a comment. It helps the video and the algorithm so much more. And I want to also take a second to talk about something that, not really talk about it, but basically just give a second and send some love to a major artist who is going through a rough time right now. For those of you in the strange music scene or in the underground music scene in general, might have heard that one of our major artists, Ritz, has been in ICU for about a week now. We all just kind of found out today. So basically, if you're watching this, I just want everyone to take a second and send some positivity and love and good vibes and healing to Ritz, because we all want him to get better and back on his feet as soon as possible. Much love to you, man. I know you'll probably never see this, but just know that your fans are out there wishing the best for you, and we all know you're going to get back on your feet. Much love, man. So without further ado and without any more sadness, let's get hype in this bitch and bring our guests on for today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please welcome John Fletcher. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How would we like to be referred to today? Do you like Jay or do you like John, or would you like me to just call you Mr. Lion?
Mr. Lion, that's a good one. Jay is fine.
All right. So why don't you just kind of give us a little introduction on yourself? How old are you, sir, and where are you from to start out with?
So, again, my name's Jay Fletcher. I am 21 years old as of this past September, and I am a native of Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, all right. And were you Are you currently there, born and raised?
Well, I was born in Louisville, but I was raised around Brandenburg. It's like 45 minutes to an hour southwest of it.
Okay.
And after hearing about, if my math is correct, probably 15 or so ish hours, me and my wife are going to be moving down to Radcliffe.
Oh, wow. So I got you in the middle of a move.
Yeah.
That is dedication, my friend.
Yeah, we just got approved about 4 hours ago.
Oh shit. Well, congratulations. That's good news.
Thank you.
Now, is this did you get approved? Are you buying your own house or an apartment? What kind of future are we looking at here?
It's a rental property. It's a trailer. It's a 3-bed, 1.5 bath, and it's probably the best deal that me and my wife could get because we have 2 big dogs and 2 little kittens. Surprisingly, they haven't ate each other up for some reason. But yeah, this landlord, she doesn't care about how many animals we have as long as we take care of them, clean up after them, everything. And we're currently about to start paying $950 a month for it.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Exactly.
I will not. You're preaching to the choir here, man. Ain't no one gonna judge you here. We live in an RV with my semi big dog and my 2 kitties, and I'm on the same boat. How we all haven't eaten each other is a miracle.
Right.
So congratulations on that. No matter what either way, it sounds like an upgrade and a good thing.
Oh, for sure.
So I know that you kind of dabble in a lot of different things. So what are some of the things that you're going to tell us about today on this show? What are some of your background, I guess?
So I am a heavy car enthusiast. And actually, that's where I am right now. I'm in my 2014 Chevrolet Camaro. And it's been a dream car of mine for the last 13 years of my life. And I got it as a late birthday present.
Nice.
So that's one part. I also dabble in cigars because I've experienced different ways of smoking, like vapes, cigarettes, weed, all that. Cigars just spoke to me. I would have one on me, but I refuse to smoke in my car. So
one of those catch-22s. You love your cars, you love your cigars, but you can't do both, right?
exactly.
Now, let's back to the cars. Are you a newer car enthusiast, an older car enthusiast, or just everything in between?
It's kind of like an everything in between kind of deal because I like knowing the stats on specific cars, but I also like looking at cars and thinking, ooh, pretty.
So, what would be your ultimate dream car?
So, realistically speaking, I already have it. But if I'm wanting to expand my horizons and journey out to like $1 million cars per se, probably the 2013 Ferrari F12 Berlinetta.
Ooh.
That year was kind of like a step down from their fastest car, the LaFerrari. And I remember looking at a magazine that one of my good friends gave to me, and I was like, I saw it and I was in love, and I'm like, I want this car, but I know I'm never gonna hit millions.
So I don't know much about cars, so bear with me as I try to navigate through this. But one thing I'm curious about is, do you remember what is one of the first things that made you want to get into cars? What sparked that for you?
This is one of the many backstories, but I remember whenever I first fell in love with the Camaro, I was up in Madison, Wisconsin for a world archery tournament. And it was me, my dad, the one that took us all, and my best buddy that was also on the team. His name's Logan. And I just happened to wake up one morning in this rinky-dink hotel room, and I look out the window, and I'm admiring this car. It is beautiful. It was a 2011 white with 2 black racing stripes down the middle, and I just remember I looked at the clock, saw that it was 6:30. I just woke up, and I looked back at the car and I was staring at it. Then the next time I see the clock, it says 7:45, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to wake up everybody and get ready for this tournament. But yeah, whenever we were headed out to the car, it was like a few parking spaces down. I had this little DS that had that camera on it. I think it was a DS Lite, but I don't remember. But I happened to look by and I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm taking a photo of this car real quick. You care? And he's like, no, go ahead. So I took a photo, and I still have the DS that has that photo to this day.
Wow. I miss those little DS cameras. It's like
Yes.
the first original webcam, I think if we really want to call it.
Yeah.
Those things were cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, do you frequent car shows and stuff like that do stuff like that with your ride, or?
I've recently been getting into looking into car shows. There was one in Bowling Green that happened about a month and a half ago that was solely dedicated to the Camaro. And I'm like, I was turned to my wife and I'm like, can I please go and see this? I know you're not working this day. And she's like, okay, hold on. Let me see if we can. And a couple days go by and she's like, how much are the tickets? And I'm like, little bit on the pricey side for us right now, but like $80 a ticket. And she's like, turns out my schedule got changed. I am working that day, but if you want to go ahead and do it, go. And I could not have been happier.
That sounds awesome. And good support system, it sounds like, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. So let's jump into another thing I'm not too familiar with. I mean, I smoke, but I'm not really familiar with cigars. So, I mean, I don't know if many of my viewers are either. Why don't you kind of introduce us all and tell us a bit about that?
So, cigars are kind of like cigarettes in a way. It's just they're not made with a filter of any kind. It's 100% pure tobacco. And sometimes they could have like fruity flavors, like a strawberry kind of. Don Rafa has a really good strawberry cigar. And there's a smoke shop right up the road from where I currently live that sells it. And every time every time my taste palate starts to feel a little fruity, I go for that.
All right, now here's one, and to my viewers, don't judge me. I said I don't know much about this. The flavor, is it in the tobacco or is that in the wrap that they come in?
It's more in the tobacco, but I don't know what specifically they do with the flavor. I don't know if the flavoring is infused into the tobacco pre-growth, but regardless, I'm still doing quite a bit of research on it because I've been smoking cigars for about a year now, I think. But I'm always looking into all these different kinds of cigars, doing research on it before I go and taste one.
Now, maybe you can explain to me, or even if my viewers know, please, and I want to remind you guys watching, please, if you guys have any questions or comments, please drop those at any time. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions. But what is one of the, I guess, main differences between a cigarette and a cigar?
So, probably the biggest difference between cigarettes and cigars is where they're made. Like, I know my mom used to work for one whenever I was, no, not while I was born. It was like a few years before I was born. My mom worked at a cigarette factory, and she would see all these tubes. She would have a pouch full of tobacco on the side. She would take it up, fill it in, send it down the line. Cigars, on the other hand, they come from like barns, I think they are. sure, they go to like a warehouse kind of deal, but cigars are all. Or the biggest thing about cigars is that I love the fact my favorite cigar brand, Oliva, they do it too. So they take the wrapper and it's all hand rolled. Like every single bit of the cigar making process is handmade. And to me, that screams, okay, cool. They care about their product.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm with you. Anyone who bothers to take the time to hand make their products is going to be one step above in my book. That
Oh,
shows, dedication and, you know, uh, pride in your work.
exactly.
So you named a couple of brands for us already. What
Yeah.
what would you say, and again, are your favorites? Again, kind of like, I guess, give us your favorite sweet, and then give us your favorite, whatever would be the opposite of that, I suppose.
um, so my favorite sweet tasting cigar would be the Don Rafa Strawberry Splash. That one is heavily a go-to, but I have a couple of favorites from my all-time favorite brand, Alec Bradley. They just recently came out with a Safe Keepings, which that one was a uh, give me a second, I gotta rack my brain up here. Safe Keepings is a recipe that was made back in 1998, 2 years after they were established as a brand, but they didn't release it until about June of this year. So that was probably 26 years, if my math is correct. And then another really good one, and this is one that I started out with whenever I first started smoking, because it's a lighter cigar. It's called the Kintsugi. And the whole meaning behind that name, it's a Japanese term meaning that anything that is broken is fixed with gold.
Oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna rewatch this episode 100 times until I remember how to say that word.
It's it's a pretty easy spelling, but it's also really hard to say because it took me like 2 months to say it correctly.
Hmm. So I have a question, a two-part question from someone in my audience.
Okay.
They would like to know, part one is if you do or ever have smoked weed. And second part to the question, if you have, what is your favorite cigar to roll a blunt with?
Ooh, that second one's a really good question. So the first one, I've only smoked weed once, and I swear I had the biggest case of the munchies, and I'm a pretty hefty man. I currently weigh like 265, and it's the case of the munchies that I had. I swear I downed like 8 pancakes and a whole bunch of different sweets, a whole pumpkin pie, all in one night. And I woke up the next morning out of the haze, and I'm like, why the fuck does my stomach hurt?
Oh,
And then
that's great.
my wife turns to me and she's like, you don't remember how much you ate last night? And I'm like, how much did I eat? She reads off this entire list. I went through about probably half of a big bag of pancake mix to make those pancakes. It
Oh,
was
man.
exhausting. And I made the pancakes myself. So
It was
I
exhausting.
didn't remember that.
Damn, well, I was gonna say, I don't know if you'll remember, but would you recall what your favorite munchie of the night might have been?
I don't think I remember. It was probably the pancakes. Because I also infused blueberries with it. And I'm not a fan of blueberries, so that really told me something. But yeah, I think it was the pancakes that I liked the most.
That is great. I love that it wasn't too traumatic of an experience other than a major stomach ache the next day.
No, the only other thing that I remember was me sitting in the corner of my bed going, just rocking back and forth, laughing for no reason. And my wife turns to me at one point and goes, "You're a giggly high." And I'm like, yeah.
So, I mean, outside of that experience, with your just overall taste for the thing, what would you recommend for us potheads to roll our blunts with?
Oh, I don't think I've dabbled in that or dabbled in that side of it, but if I had to recommend one, if you want more of a darker tone, like I mentioned earlier, Alec Bradley's Safe Keepings, that one's a good one. But if you want more on the lighter side, then probably this is I think it's a Puerto Rican brand. It's called Arturo Fuente. They have one that I'm gonna mess up the name because I think it's in Spanish, but I think it's called the Cazadores. I'll probably go back and type it in later, but it has a really complicated spelling. But that one is a bit more on the lighter side.
All right. We have another viewer question. Sunray would like to know if you have ever considered producing your own line of cigars.
I mean, that would be a good business, but I know little to nothing about how to make them. Although there's a bunch of tobacco plants around where I live. So I really should get into that.
Definitely. What are some of your, I mean, I don't, I guess I should ask, what else, is there anything else that you dabble in besides your cars and so far your cigars? Cars and cigars. That sounds like a song.
Yeah, I have my bio for probably Instagram, Facebook, and I think Meta that says just the guy who loves cars, cigars, and writing hard bars. So
And
I
riding hard
love
bars.
music.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What kind of music are you into? Do you make music or what kind of, yeah,
Well,
tell us about that.
I used to make music when I was when I was in high school, and I made a little. I was a part of a subgenre called choppers, which is basically rappers who rap extremely fucking fast. And I think my highest speed clocked in at around 15 and a half syllables per second.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a I had to do a tongue twister because if I didn't do a tongue twister, then I would just stumble over my words, trip and fall as clumsy as I am.
So are we talking like freestyle here, or were you able to write it out before you would do this?
Um, I I'm not a freestyler whatsoever, so everything that I did rap and put into music was all handwritten.
I can imagine being able to do something that fast off the top of your head is not something many can do. So I respect that. Is there any of this music we can find out on platforms or right now where we can listen to you?
Unfortunately, no, because I had to retire it like 3 years ago due to mental stress and everything. And I went through a depressive point in my life where I was damn near about to kill myself. And I deleted everything in my music catalog.
Is there a chance that you might jump back into that in the future?
I mean, in rap, probably, but I've been having a lot of support from my wife's side of the family because they've heard me sing before. And they're like, "You are a really good singer." And I'm like, "I did used to make music, but I didn't specify what kind of music." But they were like, "Yeah, you should definitely start making music of your own."
Yeah, definitely. So you rap and sing. Do you play instruments as well?
I I dabble a little bit in piano, mainly because my favorite band of all time has got to be Queen. And I remember hearing Bohemian Rhapsody one day when I was younger, and I'm like, I want to learn how to play this. Then I'm like 5 years down the road, I hear it again after a long hiatus from listening to them, and I'm like, okay, there's a piano room in my college dorm. I'm gonna I'm gonna learn how to play that song. And I spent like maybe 3 or 4 hours every day, damn near to the point where my fingertips bled. And I was trying to play this song, and I'm like, I got so good so fast. What am I doing?
So I guess a good question is what would motivate you to get back into music?
Time. Time management is not my best friend. Because, well, recently I just got laid off from my job, but it's not going to be for very long. So I have a little bit of time now, but usually I work 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes 12. I would come home, take care of my dogs and my cats, and other times I'd be so tired by the time my wife comes in the door that I'll be in bed. So time management is definitely not my friend.
Sure. I think we all kind of struggle with that.
Oh yeah.
Time time seems to be moving at a lot quicker pace than it used to.
Oh yeah. I agree.
So, who are some of your biggest inspirations in music? Who did you look up to? You already mentioned Queen for one of them. Who else are some of your inspirations?
Like in terms of rappers, I say probably Eminem, Tupac. Who else? There was another artist, but I can't remember who they are. But definitely
All right, guys, I think we ran into a little, probably a service glitch, so we're going to give it a second and see if he can't come back here. He had mentioned it before the show, so I was somewhat prepared for this to happen. While we're waiting, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and please, 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 please drop some questions if you got them, either for myself or my guest. Yep, it glitched out. We're going to give him a second. I see you, Jake. While we're doing that, I will remind you guys if you want to be so freaking awesome to go listen to some of my music. That would be cool. Makes a good Christmas present for me. You want to know what else makes a good Christmas present? I got some other stuff going on for you guys. Check this out. All right, I'm going to make this a little bigger for you. So, right now, through the end of December, there is special holiday merch for MadWag. I got a whole grip of new designs up in the store for you guys to check out. They are ranging anywhere from like $15 and up, depending on the items that you want. But if you scan this little code right here or go to one of these links, it will take you to my entire merch store. I have stuff for Let's Talk Ghosts. Not to mention, I have brand new merch out for my group Coexist, which we have a brand new album out. If you haven't picked up one of those yet, please contact me. You can get a digital hard copy for $25, I believe, or just for an extra $5, you can get the digital. Wait a minute, I said that backwards. For $25, you can get a physical CD, hard copy, mailed to you in your mailbox before it comes out on streaming platforms, so you will get to hear it first. For an extra $5, for $30, you will get the hard physical CD and the digital copy, which will be instantly delivered to you. So again, Those are available now. All you got to do is message me for info, or you can go to the Coexist page and find the links on how to pay and do all that fun stuff. But the point being is, go check out the merch shop for the holidays. We got tons of stuff up. Hit me up for the CD. Hit me up if you need help finding merch. And yeah, all the rest of that fun stuff. So go check those links out, you guys. Kind of fun. If you don't know how to work them, all you have to do actually is screenshot this and then open your camera, and it should actually kind of give you an option to do it yourself and take you to the website directly. Otherwise, you can find all of these links on my profile under my bio. Let me check my messages. I think homie straight up lost service. Oh, I spoke too soon. Here we go. Woo! We're back.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to be honest
how
with you. I have no idea what we were talking about, so go ahead.
The influences behind why I wanted to go.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I lost you somewhere at definitely Eminem.
yeah, I started talking like a minute and a half after that. But I didn't know what was going on, and I'm like, oh geez. Anyway, on the rap side, it's definitely Eminem and Tupac. I couldn't think up of anybody else that I would regularly listen to, but definitely M and Tupac. And then on the singing side, this is going to be a crazy assortment, so bear with me. It's kind of like a mix between Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Linkin Park, who else? Papa Roach. I listen to damn near everything.
So that brings me to a new question. What do you think about the new singer for Linkin Park?
Oh, Emily. She's a badass singer, I think. Especially for a lot of female singers, because I don't particularly like female rock singers, but more along the lines of like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, those kinds of female singers I vibe with.
Sure.
But Emily, I first heard her on, I don't remember if it was Heavy as the Crown or The Emptiness Machine, but I heard her voice for the first time and I'm like, who the hell is that? They're awesome. And then my best friend was like, you've never heard of Emily Armstrong? And I'm like, who the hell is that? And he's like, let me rewind the song. I'll let you listen to it. And then I heard the rest of the song and I'm like, holy shit, how long have they been a band? And he was like, 2000. I'm like, that's a what?
Oh, so since you brought it up and you are not a big, I don't want to put you under the wrong light. So how do you feel about Evanescence? Amy Lee.
I do like her music, or I do like her vocals. I meant to say vocals. Like, the only song that I'll ever really listen to by her, obviously the big one, Bring Me to Life. But I know I've done a little bit of research on her vocal background. Turns out she used to be taught by her grandmother, who was an opera singer. And that part blows my mind. Now, Amy Lee is another exception along with Emily Armstrong. But other than those two, no, I don't think I can listen to anybody else, female-wise.
They are. There's a few out there, but they are pretty few and far between. That is for sure.
Oh yeah.
As someone commented in here, a good singer with a pretty face, but not so beautiful personality.
Oh,
Unfortunately, that is also another kind of trend with female singers than the rock scene. And unfortunately, it's kind of in the rap scene too, if we're going to be honest here. There's a lot of those pretty faces, but don't really contribute much to anything else.
yeah, no, especially Cardi B. I used to
Yeah,
listen to her all the time, and now I fucking hate her.
I will be honest. I've become so underground. I could not probably name one artist that is on the radio right now. And I just happened to take a glance at the Spotify top 50 in US, and I didn't know who any of them were. I'm a little ashamed of myself.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Music today is not for me unless it's underground.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, mainstream or not mainstream, as we discovered, my listeners and myself listen to a lot of everything. So, what is one of your favorite current songs right now? What is one song that you're just find yourself kind of putting on repeat lately?
Ooh, so my YouTube Music 2024 recap called me out on this because I only started listening to it back last month, and it's already my top song that I've listened to this year. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, why? It's Given Up by Linkin Park.
Hey, that's a good song. Nothing wrong with that.
I mainly do it because the whole 17-second scream thing, which every time I crank the radio up to 35, maybe 40, just so I could do
Uh, Now, I know none of us can find it anywhere, but let's backtrack a little bit. And I want to know about one of your favorite songs that you have done.
Ooh, probably my all-time favorite one was the last song that I put out. It's called Criminal Freestyle. And I was working with this producer from, I think it's South Korea. He went by Unknown, and you can never find him anywhere because he's that hidden of an artist. And he was like, here, I'll make 2 beats. You release one on your end, and I'll release one on my end. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he came up with the beats. He sent me one that I curated with him. Then he sent me another one that he did by himself. And the one that I did for me, I listed it as Criminal Freestyle because it was all basically just like 2.5 minutes of nothing but verse. And there was this other song that I kind of incorporated a beat style to. I don't remember which one it was, but it was, I was like, could we add this like right in the middle of the song? And he's like, go for it. But the whole purpose of the song was to address the last rapper that dissed me. Because within the 2.5 years that I did make music, 3 rappers dissed me. And the last one in particular put up a really hard challenge because he kept firing shots back at me. And he's like, when you going to respond, bro? I finally responded, and it ended his career.
Oh, I bet he regrets that.
Oh, yeah. And the funniest part about it all was that the only shit that he had on me was that my favorite color is purple and I live in Kentucky. That's it.
Okay, I have to know how and why someone can diss you for liking the color purple.
Because I think it's a whole gender stereotype with the whole girls only like pink and purple while guys like green and orange. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Like, why won't you accept that fact?
Oh my goodness. That's a new one for me.
Right.
I'm gonna diss you because you like purple. Oh shit. Yeah.
Fair.
Oh. So I guess that's a good lead into another one of my questions here that I like to ask. How do you have a hater right now watching? How would you like to address them?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, if a hater was to address me, more than likely, because I don't like to step into anything that I don't want to. If I step into something, then I'm either really fucking high or I've gone criminally insane. Other than that, I don't get into shit. So 9 times out of 10, it's them trying to say shit about me. And I just, I like to analyze. I'm one of those ones that's like trying to perfect and critique every little detail about one specific thing. So this guy in particular, he went by Everglow at the time, and he just started firing off shots at me like, okay, you're not really saying shit. Plus, I've seen what his face looked like, and I'm like, this chubster of a kid, because he was 13 at the time and I was 18. And I looked at him and I'm like, dude, this guy doesn't stand a fucking chance. And then it took me like 2 weeks to write the diss track against him, the 1 to his 4. And I basically told him, I was like, hey, cool. I get that you don't like me for some fucking reason, but anyway, here's my rebuttal to you. Except I'm ending your career.
So my audience, I think, is getting a kick out of the color disc too.
I don't blame him though. Like, so what? My favorite color is purple. Ooh.
Yeah, that's kind of like he couldn't even diss you, so it.
Why diss me anyway?
Oh.
But I mean, 13-year-olds, most of them are shit starters like I was when I was 13.
Yeah, I gotta say, honestly, had you not told me at the beginning of this show, I would not peg you as only being 21. You seem a lot more mature in you seem a lot more mature.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of people see that in me and they're like, how old are you? Like 27? I just turned 21. What the fuck? I appreciate the compliment though, but that is way off.
Here's another good question for you. If you had the opportunity to work with anyone, dead or alive, whether it be musically or I don't know, you could build a car with someone or go just sit in the smoke room and hang out. If you could collaborate or do something or anything with anyone, dead or alive, who would you want to work with?
Ooh, I'm gonna branch this out through everything that we've talked about so far. So, in terms of cars, Jay Leno. Jay Leno is
Absolutely.
definitely a top one for me. And then in terms of cigars, Guy Fieri. Yeah, a lot of people
Okay.
don't know that he's a big cigar connoisseur. And in terms of music, the only dead person that I'll probably say out of the list, Chester Bennington.
You know, shout out to you for saying that and shout out to him. You know, I cannot believe I am about to say this, but that is the first time anyone has ever said that on this show. And it is an absolute utter shock to me that no one else has wanted to work with him
Right.
and have that answer. So major props to you, man. I love that answer. Love
Thank
it. Fuck, that is a great freaking choice, man.
Yeah, I take great pride in my music choices.
Oh man. So in your music stage, have you did you get to perform these type of things, or was it like backstreet alleyway type battle raps and stuff like that.
So,
Did you get?
so
Yeah,
in terms
go
of
ahead.
that, oh, sorry.
No, you take it away, man. I'm stuttering. I'm taking your stutter for you.
I'm sorry you had to do that because my stutter problem is really badly, especially when I'm nervous.
I haven't
But
noticed it one bit. That's why I'm like, I'm taking it over for you, man.
yeah, so with that being said, the because I was still in high school whenever I did make all this music, I would release a song and then by like the next day, people around my class specifically was like, dude, perform your new song. And I'm like, I don't even remember half the lyrics. What the fuck do you expect me to do? But with the diss tracks one, it was all Backstreet shit.
So if you had the opportunity to perform on a stage somewhere, where would you want to perform? What would be your ultimate?
My next answer is for a couple of reasons. Wembley Stadium.
That's a nice choice.
First off, because one of my other idols, Freddie Mercury, that was where probably his biggest and last performance ever was. Plus, there's also a really good reputation behind Wembley Stadium performers.
Absolutely. I'm not the biggest entrepreneur of venues or stadiums or anything like that, but I am well aware of that one. So that's got to say something.
Right.
Now to the kind of, I guess you can call them daunting questions of the show. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh, 5 years. Realistically, stuck at the same job that I've had since the beginning of the year, but probably on the same level that my dad is, because I work under my dad in a sheet metal shop that makes like all the copper stills for Jim Beam and Jack Daniels and all those different big famous distilleries. But when it comes to like my hopes and dreams and shit, definitely performing on a stadium in front of a few thousand people.
Oh yeah. And do you have any, like, I guess, strategies or plans to grow this? Like, what are some steps, I guess, that you want to take to make that dream happen? What are your plans to put that in motion?
Definitely to make a few covers of some of my favorite songs. Like another band that I listen to, they're not as popular, but they're still kind of mainstream. They're called Set It Off. And they just recently re-released like their own version of a song that they made like 10 years ago, and it kicks ass. It's called Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. And the updated version is called Wolf in Sheep's Clothing Reborn. And me and my wife heard the song because we're both really big fans of them. We're about to go and see them in May. And we heard that version of the song and we were like, this is one of those rare occasions, but the newer one is better than the classic. And she's like, oh, for fucking sure. So definitely going to do a lot of covers. I also heard that's how bands and singers like Adele, AJR, all those people got their start because they made covers. I think Adele was for Aretha Franklin covers and AJR was Michael Jackson's covers.
Oh, I did not. I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah,
AJR. I want my audience to tap in if you guys know who that is, because that's another one that's not mentioned often.
Right. Yeah, my wife used to listen to them, but then she thought she stopped listening to them because she thinks their songs are really corny nowadays.
You know, I think we all kind of go through a stage with some of our artists where we feel like that. They all have at least one album that they do where we're like, I don't
Yeah.
know if I like that one so much.
Right.
And then they always seem to come back and surprise us and bring back, the whatever it was that we liked. But there's always something in there in the middle that throws us for a loop.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm currently going through Linkin Park's entire discography. I'm on their third album, Minutes to Midnight, and I have not heard a bad song yet.
You know, one of my favorite Linkin Park albums is one that I think gets skipped over quite a lot, and nobody appreciates it the way I do. But it's the Reanimation one. That
Oh,
is my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite because honestly, I don't think you can pick a favorite Linkin Park. But that for me, that's always one of my first go tos.
Shinedown versus Man is
I'm
better than.
I'm a sucker for the remix and the rap. I'm not gonna lie. I love everything about Linkin Park, but something about that Reanimation, you add in those beats and that hype, and I'm just all about it.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Now let's see. My questions from the viewers, you guys. Let's get some of those in there because I am down to my last few. And at this point, I basically just want to kind of give the floor to you to tell everyone where they can find and follow you and to give any shout outs to anyone that you would just like to give some love to, real quick.
Okay, so crawling is my go-to. Love that. Sorry, I was reading the comments and I was like, "Ooh, these are getting real good." But so I'm more on Instagram than anything. It'd be Jay the King 817, and I am on Meta a little bit. 9 times out of 10, I'm playing Beat Saber and kicking out every song that I do. And but yeah, I'm definitely on Instagram for sure. So any one of y'all want to check me out, then I'll put my Instagram link in probably the comments here in a couple of minutes if I can.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, Instagram is my go-to.
All right. And I got a little sidetracked. What is this Beat Saber?
Oh, so it's a rhythm game where you have to slice blocks in tune to songs. And
Oh.
yeah, so my biggest accomplishment up to this point, there's this really, really hard song that I just beat like last night. The name of the song is Power of the Saber Blade, and it's by a band called Dragon Force. And just on expert level, you have to slice like 2,000 blocks in like 4 minutes. And it sounds difficult, but it's mainly like muscle memory and going to practice mode, practicing it like 60% for the 40 seconds of the guitar solo has. And yeah, that one was difficult. I remember there have been times where I got so pissed off that I would smash the controller that I had in my hand, and that's $150 for 2 controllers out the window.
All right. So my next question is, what platform is this on?
It's mainly on the Meta Quest. It's a VR headset.
Oh, okay.
I personally have the 3, and I got the 3 like a couple weeks before the 3S came out, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
That man, that sounds extremely awesome. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna have to. look into this now because that sounds like a game I would actually be interested in.
Yeah, I also do post some of the songs that I play on Beat Saber onto my Instagram account. So if you ever by chance happen to check that out, then highly worth the watch.
You could bet I'm gonna go check this out now, so I know how much I want to go invest in this stuff because that sounds interesting as hell.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have a whole bunch of different music packs that I heavily enjoy. They have Queen, Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, Linkin Park, and Linkin Park with Mike Shinoda. They also have a whole bunch of dubstep ones like from Monster Cat, Interscope Records. Who else do they have? They also have a whole bunch of pre-built or pre-installed packs in there. My personal favorite one is by this Japanese dubstep artist named Camellia. And he's known for, he puts in his, or the way that I like to explain it, as he puts in his Instagram bio, every rhythm beat player or every rhythm game player's worst enemy. And recently I just beat every single one of Camellia's songs on Expert. And I have yet to do it on Expert Plus.
You're making me want to go whip out some old school Guitar Hero or something.
Yes! Especially like with the Dragon Force thing, their song Through the Fire and the Flames. That one is like a timeless classic.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the ones. I think that's at the end of the game. Isn't that one of like the boss songs where you beat the shit? That one and Freebird. I think depending on which game you get, I believe that is one of the expert songs right there. If you can win that shit, then you beat the game.
Oh, for sure. Freebird is on Beat Saber too. I beat it on Expert and I only missed like 4 out of the damn near 3,000 blocks in the 8 minutes and 50 seconds that it takes to play the song.
Well, and what seems interesting to me is it sounds like it's entertaining, but for a musician, it's in a way it's honing your skill and noticing and being able to pick up on the beats and the patterns and stuff like that. It seems like it would be educational, beneficial if you're a musician.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that my music skills have definitely been starting to get honed in more. And I'm just analyzing everything within the songs and I'm like, I've never noticed this before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's gonna draw you into the song more instead of just casually listening. Like you have to be able to pay attention and pick up on all of that stuff. That sounds cool as hell. I'm glad you brought that up to me. All right. Thank you, Sunray, for the stars. Awesome. All right. So, yeah, that actually brings me down to my last 2 questions of the show for today. So, out of your whole 21 years of life, what has been your most hype moment? Because this is hype as fuck. So, what has been one of your most coolest favorite moments? And I want you to relive that as hype as fuck for us.
So, probably my favorite moment in my life was meeting the woman who eventually did become my wife. And because we were high school sweethearts. She was a sophomore, I was a junior, and we met at one of our archery practices. She recently got back into it and was looking for teaching, and I was the best archer in my school's team. And we got introduced through one of my ex-girlfriends, actually, who both of us were friends for. And when her name was Caitlin. Caitlin introduced me and my wife. Her name's Kirsten. And Caitlin comes up to me and goes, John, I want you to meet Kirsten. And then both of us just knew we were right for each other. And we hung out a little bit in between class changes and archery practices. And then we lost connection after or during the summer going into my senior year. And we didn't reconnect until April of last year. And we were like, hey, how you been? And it was a whole little awkward phase, especially because she was dating somebody else at the time. Yeah, and this dickhead of an ex-boyfriend that she had broke up with her on her 20th birthday.
So conveniently left the door right open for you to come swoop in and save the day and become husband of the universe.
Yes.
Yes. That's awesome, my man.
And we got married on April 20th of this year.
420, hell yeah. Woo! Of this year. So congratulations again. I know it's been a little bit of a while, but that's still pretty fresh. So congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
This to many, many, many more years to come. And you know, I feel like that's a good start to relationships because most of the longest relationships that I've heard of working out recently have started out that same exact way, including my wife's. We met each other and then somehow became disconnected for some amount of time. For us, it was actually years. And then we came back together years later, and from literally that moment on, have been inseparable. So the whole meeting and splitting up and coming back together, I feel like that's like a good omen for couples. So I think you guys are off to a lifetime.
Thank you.
And that brings me to my last, final, awkward, weird ass question that most people, unless you've watched the show, are like, what in the hell? But what is your favorite dinosaur?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably the Triceratops.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I used to have toys growing up, and I was always hyper fixated on the Triceratops because I kept like messing with its head and everything, so much so that it broke off one day, and I'm like, and I still kept the head for like 15 years after that.
So I'm going to add an extra question in this one for us. What's your favorite dinosaur movie?
Ooh. Definitely the OG, the first Jurassic Park.
Hell yeah, 100%.
Always has been, always will be. And I definitely have very fond memories of watching those movies with my dad.
I think that has a lot to do with us. And, you know, it's not always the movie itself, but it's the memories that we carry along with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. Well, right on, man. I had a great show. Is there any, I don't want to cut off anything that you want to share with us. So is there anything that we skipped over that you want to get out before I go on my outro spew?
No, I think that's everything.
All right. Well, then I absolutely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day and your current move to come and introduce yourself and share what you have going on with us on Hype today. And I want to let you know that you are welcome back at any point in time. You just got to message me. And if you start making music, I am sending you off with over 1 billion streams on anything that you put out from here on the future. And that goes for your other endeavors as well. I hope that one day I will walk into a gas station and I will see a pack of cigars with your name on it.
I love that. And thank you for having me. It's great.
Absolutely. Please, I want to stress this the most. Just I wish every single one of my guests and you especially just the best possible future you can have for yourself. So that's the most biggest thing that I want to send you off with today. And I just thank you for being around and being a supporter of Hype, and the best luck to you, my man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, man. If you ever want back on the show, just hit me up. My door's always open. It was an awesome time seeing you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right. Much love. All right, you guys. That's going to do it for our show today. I got a busy week, you guys. I think, I don't think I have a day off this week. More than likely, we have a show with Happy Days tomorrow. Whether we have an interview or it's music rotation, I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but we probably have a show for you then. And then on the rest of this week, if I can find my calendar, I have episodes with, is it this week? I'm lying to you guys. It's next week. I'm lying to you guys. We have a Happy Day show this week, and then next week I have episodes all through the week with XO Reckless, Rocky Bob, and Jade Mitchell, and also Wifey has an episode coming up with BFF, Christina Baker. I'm not sure the name of the show of who that's under. And then I might also have an extra podcast going on that day if things pan out with another special guest. So stay tuned for that announcement. And then last but not least, at the end of the week, you guys, I am going to be on a podcast with my bro Versatile, and we're going to be talking about that Coexist album that I mentioned earlier. So, one last time, like and subscribe to Hype as Fuck on whatever platform you're watching on. Share this video out, tag your friends, go follow my guest. He is tagged in this post, and I will gather those links to his Instagram and his Discord and share those as well. And go buy my album, Coexist, Within the Flame. If you do it this week, I might cut you a deal for Black Friday. It's going to be a cheap one because I'm a broke, starving artist, literally in every sense of the word. But go buy this album, you guys. It's dope AF. So far, I've had a couple people buy it and listen. You want to hear about it? Go ask Acid Happy. Go ask The Bastard. Go ask my wife. Album is banging. Go get it. Otherwise, stay hype AF, and I'll see you on the next episode. I love you guys so much. And until tomorrow, I'll see you on Happy Days. Peace out. Why am I here? Oh my God. No, I don't know why you didn't take me off camera. Can you see my outro through the thing? Listen to me. Listen to me instead of my outro. What the F, man? That's not cool. Stupid thing. Take me away. This has been Technical Difficulties with Madwack. Thank you for watching Hype AF.